All right, welcome again, everyone. Thanks for being here. My name's Kristen, and I do these classes twice a month, the first and the third Thursdays of the month, to give us all an opportunity to connect and to try on and try out some somatic practices, some somatic tools to help support ourselves and our body and our nervous system in shifting out of any unnecessary survival energy that may be happening for us and toward a state of greater safety and connectedness. I don't know anyone who doesn't need support with that right now in some way or another. So I hope that what I'm offering feels supportive to you in some way. And having said that, all of our nervous systems are really different. So when we're doing somatic practices, all of our systems are going to receive them and process them differently. And so this is all an experiment and it's all an invitation. So I'm going to be offering some things to you as possibilities and inviting you to try them out with me. And you're welcome to take those invitations if they feel right and they feel good in your body for right now. But whatever your body is communicating with you about what's right or what's not right is the most important thing, way more important than whatever it is I'm suggesting. So if there's anything that I'm inviting that doesn't feel right, or it feels like too much or too fast or anything, and your system needs something different, then you can give your system something different. And I encourage you to do that. So you can slow down, you can stop or pause at any time. You can just watch and listen to me, but not actually be doing what I'm doing. If you have your camera on, and you decide it would feel better to have your camera off, you can do that. You can orient away from the screen, looking elsewhere. And you can listen to your body and just sense what do I need right now? What's the support that I need right now? And listen to that and follow that. Part of what we're doing with these somatic practices is practicing listening to and attuning to what our system is telling us and what's happening with and for us right now. And that informs where we go, right? So that's a really important part of this as well. Yeah, what else should I guess I'll tell you what we're gonna work with today. And then we'll start the way we usually do, which is just by checking in with our present moment sensation and noticing. But what we're going to do for practice today is I thought we could work with the jaw a little bit. The jaw, I see some maybe celebration. So the jaw is a place where a lot of us hold stress and tension. And that can happen for a lot of reasons. And it also can be really connected to a broader nervous system autonomic pattern of like stuck survival energy, mainly like the fight or flight sympathetic activation energy. So it can be like that sympathetic activation in our body is wanting to discharge in some way, but there's not a good time or a safe time or a space or a way to do that. So what'll happen is our body will develop holding patterns of tension in different places. And the jaw is a really common place for that to happen. So we're just going to invite possibilities for that to soften and shift in some way, both in the direct area, like biomechanical region of our jaw, but also being able to notice and sense the impact on our larger nervous system. Because even if we're just making contact with one area of the body, we're still touching the whole body. It's all connected. It's all the same, right? So you touch one thing, you touch one part, and you're touching the whole thing. There's no escaping that. So that's the overview of what we're going to do. But we'll begin by checking in. And so the way I usually invite this is to, in whatever way feels right for you, to start to turn your attention and your awareness just a little bit more toward yourself, toward your inner experience, your body experience, your whole being experience, and just to sense and notice what's here for me right now. What's present and happening for me right now physically, mentally, emotionally, energetically, spiritually, all of the above. There's no right or wrong way to show up. We're just seeing what's here. And so even this pausing and noticing what's here and what's present for us invites the part of our nervous system that brings safety and connection a little bit more online. And we can even go one step further if it feels right. As we're noticing what's here and what's present, we might want to name what's present and name what we're noticing to make what was implicit explicit. And that helps bring our cerebral cortex a little bit to the forefront as well. And so there might be a word or a couple words or a phrase that pops up just to kind of encapsulate what's here right now and what your experience is. So you can name what it is you're noticing. And if you're here with me live and you feel like sharing in the chat and what you're noticing, then you're welcome to do that. You don't have to. I always invite this because it can be nice to just know where other people are coming from, because sometimes there's themes and sometimes it's all over the place, but we're holding a space for it all coming in. Lots of jaw tension, perfect for today. Buzzing in body from restraint. Yeah. Buzzing is a word that resonates in my body right now. Grief and overwhelm. Yeah, there can be more than one thing here, right? And there can be body sensation and emotion and thought and image or metaphor, right? There's lots of different ways that we notice what's here. So all of that, you might want to think about offering this practice to this experience of whatever's here and present. I also see grief, tension, anger, tiredness, confusion, dissociation, and excitement and happy energy. So much jaw clenching. Yeah, so much activation, right? Just naming that as this is what's here. There is space right now for all of that. Right now. Yeah. And so we're going to offer this practice and we get to see what shifts. And we're still listening for our body to let us know if we need to go slower, if we need to pause or stop. What I'm offering is gentle enough. It's not intended to like dig in and evoke. So just know that, right? These practices are intended to bring settling and soothing in some way. That may happen a little bit, it may happen a lot, we get to see. So the first thing I'm going to invite you to do is to bring your finger pads up toward, we're going to find our jaw. I mean, I know you know where your mandible is, right? But if you place your finger pads up at your temples, yeah, sides of the head, lateral to your eyes, and then walk them just a little bit below and you feel your cheekbone, right there. It's like that little ridge. It's called the zygomatic arch. And then walk your fingers just below that cheekbone. And so you're like right in front of your ears, right? And if you open and close your jaw, you can feel movement there. That's the joint, right? That's the temporomandibular joint. Okay. And it's also muscularly the being of a muscle called the masseter, which is a really big, thick muscle that helps us chew and talk and do other things. And so what I'm going to invite just to start is for us to do a few kind of drags or strokes through the tissue here in a way that feels gentle enough. So we're just sending some sensory information to our nervous system from this area. We're not trying to like dig in here and get out knots or look for trigger points or anything like that, right? We're just offering a contact. And so with your fingers here, right below your cheekbone, yeah, you can either let your fingertips or your finger pads just kind of sink in, not in a pokey, diggy way, but in a way that, like, if you had your hand in wet sand and you put a little bit of pressure, just a little bit, like it would sink in. So you're not just at the surface, but you're also not like forcing in, just like sinking gently into the tissue just a little bit. And then from that place, if it feels right, you can just let the weight of your arms start to drag your fingers downward, even letting your jaw open if it wants to, as you do, coming all the way down to the edge of the mandible and then off. And just notice right now what it's like after that contact. And we're going to do that a couple other times if that feels right. So if you like, you can bring your fingers back up to where we started. So you feel the ridge of your cheekbone, you're just in front of your ears, and we're just on that ridge below that. And so then you can let your fingers sink in, or fingertips sink in gently to the soft tissue there. And then as they've sunk in with the weight of your arms and gravity, let your fingertips or finger pads just drag downward, bringing your jaw with it through there. And off, going at your own pace. And then we'll do that just one more time, if that feels right. So starting at the same place, fingertips, finger pads, giving a few moments to sink in to the tissue like wet sand before you just start pulling. We don't want to like pull, right? Or poke. And then to let gravity carry the hands, carry the arms, carry those tender finger pads, fingertips down through the masseter side of the jaw and then off the bottom. Letting your hands rest. Maybe noticing right now your breath, not looking for anything in particular, but just as another aspect of your somatic experience to bring your awareness to. And maybe noticing where the chair that you're sitting in or the ground that is under your chair is supporting you. Maybe you feel floor under your feet, chair under your hips. And you might notice your face and your jaw where we were just making contact, even though contact isn't there right now. And then for the next thing that we're going to do, we're actually going to involve the hand and the palm of the hand. There is a nervous system reflex point directly in the center of the palm that is connected to the jaw and the movement of the jaw through a reflex called the Babkin reflex. And when the Babkin reflex is active when we're newborns, if you press on the center of the palms of a little newborn baby, they will open their jaw reflexively. That leads to, as that reflex integrates, it leads to baby being able to feed themselves, to like have a little blueberry or a Cheerio or something that they grab in the palm of their hand and to bring it toward their face, right? As we open our mouth for nourishment. And so the Babkin reflex is really connected to our ability to receive nourishment, and also for our whole system to be able to receive the satisfaction and satiation and soothing and calming that comes after we've had that need met. And so we can work with this reflex as an adult in our own system to support those same neural pathways in allowing our system to soothe and settle and calm in the same way. So what I'm going to invite us to do, you find your palm in the very center of your palm. So not up at the ridge, not down at the heel, just right in the concave part. And we're going to start by using the finger pads of the opposite hand and just gently pressing into the center of our palm. So we're just stimulating that reflex point, not in a pokey way, just in a gentle way, with a little bit of pressure. And then we're going to do the same thing to the opposite hand. So we're giving the sensory input to the body for this reflex. And then we're going to bring our hands up to our jaw and do something a little different than we did before. We're still going to be at that same place that's just below the cheekbones in front of our ear, so right at the TMJ. But I'm going to invite you to take this top part, top ridge of your hand, the palmar side of your hand. It's called the heads of the metacarpals. And we're going to place those right below that ridge. Right. Letting that part of our hand sink in gently. And then to gently just pull down, but we're not going to be dragging. It's like there's a little slight traction of allowing some space in that jaw joint. And I'm talking as I'm doing this, so my face will look different than yours. Right? But it's like we're sinking in and then gently pulling down to traction just a little bit. And then letting that go. So we're just doing that for a few moments. And then we'll try that a couple more times. So go to that center of the palm on the first hand, applying a little bit of pressure to the center of that palm. Then switching to the other hand, a little bit of pressure to that same place. And then bringing hands up on either side of the jaw with the heads of those metacarpals just at the joint, gently sinking in to the sides of the jaw and gently tractioning down without movement, right? So we're not dragging off our face or dragging through the tissue like we did with the first part of the practice. Just offering and feeling a little bit of space in that joint. And then letting hands rest. And then if you'd like to do that with me again, we'll do it one more time. Coming to the first hand, gentle pressure on the palm. Second hand, gentle pressure on the center of the palm. And then both hands to the side of the face, heads of the metacarpals. Gently, like hand in wet sand, sinking into the sides, right at the TMJ, and then gently tractioning down. Maybe even noticing your breath as your hands are here. Noticing your seat in the chair. And then letting your hands rest. Yeah. And checking in just for a moment to notice how you are. Just sensing your breath. Sensing any place in you where there feels maybe a little bit more softness or space or settledness. And then we'll do one more round of something different, or actually three more rounds of something different. Right, we've been working in threes. So we're going to start in the same way as that last part of the practice that we just did. So with gentle pressure in the center of one palm. And then gentle pressure in the center of the other. And then what we're going to do with hands facing forward, but we're going to start in a gentle fist. We're going to slowly open our jaw, open our mouth as our hands and palms open to the front. So it's going to look like this. Yeah. So if you like, you can do that with me at your own pace. And then relax. And then we'll do that again. Pressure, gentle pressure on center of one palm. Gentle pressure on center of the other. And then letting our palms gently, slowly come to open as our jaw gently, slowly comes to open also. And your hands may move a little bit forward, but there's not like a big pushing forward, right? That's actually a different reflex, which we can work with another time. So whenever you're ready, maybe on the exhale, if that feels good. And then let that go. Letting your jaw reset to wherever it resets, or sometimes if there's like little spontaneous adjustments or movements, then that's okay for those to happen also. And then we're going to do that just one more time. So applying pressure to the center of one palm. Applying pressure to the center of the other. And then when you're ready, maybe on the exhale, letting the palms slowly open as the jaw slowly opens as well. And letting that go. And one more thing we'll do, just because I thought of this and I feel like it always feels good and it's related to the jaw, is we can offer a little bit of contact right along our jaw line. There's some different sensory motor points along here. And so if you take your thumb and your fingers together like little pincers, right? But not like pokey things, right? It's still like we've been working with more of a soft pressure and contact. But if you take your hands like that and just place them at your chin, right? This is the midline of your mandible or your jaw. And you can offer just like a little gentle squeeze, like your thumb and your fingers are like hugging the bone right there. And then move just a little bit to the side. And give like another little hug. And then move. And for some reason, when I make this kind of contact, I think of like little kitty cat paws, like that's the kind of tenderness. Right? So it's just like your finger pads are hugging the edges of this bone all the way back to the corner towards your ear. And you could even do that one more time. You can do it lots more times on your own later if you want to, if it feels good. And then letting your hands rest whenever you're ready. And checking in again, like we did at the beginning. Turning your attention, awareness toward yourself, toward your body, toward present moment experience. And noticing what's here now. Physically, mentally, emotionally. Maybe something's shifted. Noticing, and if you like, naming what it is that's here now. More calm, one of you is sharing. And so notice how you feel that more calm in your body. If there are any other words or awarenesses that you would use to describe it. You don't have to share those other words, but just for you. Someone else shared centered, more present. Yeah. And so if there's anything that you're feeling and noticing now, it activated some sadness that wasn't there before. Yeah, I'll say something about that in a moment. Thanks for sharing that. If there's anything right now that you're noticing that feels pleasant or safe or good in some way, then see what it's like to stay with that for even just a few moments more. And if there's anything that's uncomfortable, right? See if it's possible to give that discomfort your compassionate attention right now. And there may be a mix of both. There can be a mix of both. We want to orient and savor what's good and what's safe that's showing up, even if it's just a little bit. And then anything that doesn't register as good or safe, we still want to hold. Can we hold it? Can we bring compassion or care or kindness? Or at the very least, non-judgment to that right now. Yeah. So I hope this felt supportive for you in some way. Oh, the other thing that I was going to say really quickly is that along the lines of like if discomfort comes up or someone mentioned sadness that wasn't there before, sometimes when we offer the body and nervous system more safety, then that can make it safe enough to discomfort that was just under the surface to come to the surface, because now it has the safety to be able to be held and to be able to be tended to and to be able to move through. So maybe something about that feels right or resonates with you. I really appreciate all of you being here. You're welcome. Thank you. When that happens, do you just try again? Trying again, do you mean like trying to practice again? You can. These are the places where like we get to know our own nervous system and get to know to better attune to ourselves and what's actually needed in the moment. My general default is to not, trying to move through that sadness in the moment. And if we're able to pause with whatever's here, as opposed to jumping into, what do I do next to take care of this? Because, right, what we're doing in creating safety, a shift towards safety for our nervous system, is increasing our capacity and increasing the space with which we have to hold whatever's here, right? It's not at all about shifting towards safety to get rid of all the bad feelings, which like that would be great. It doesn't work that way. I wish it did. But like the uncomfortable feelings, the uncomfortable things, what they need is space and care to be held. right? And when they don't have space, that's why things get stuck in this meat suit, body, mind, nervous system. So we're making more space. And sometimes that feels really good. And sometimes it brings up things that don't feel good. But usually when we're engaging in a practice like this and things come up that don't feel quote unquote good, oftentimes we'll have the experience of like, sadness is here, but something in me knows I'm still okay. Like it's safe for me to experience this sadness or this discomfort or whatever it is right now, right? Which is exactly what doesn't happen with traumatic situations, right? So we're giving a chance for this to happen now. Yeah. Thanks for your question. Thanks so much for being here. I'm going to send out this replay in a little bit, so this will stay active for the next couple of weeks until we do the next live class. In the meantime, you're always welcome to reach out to me with feedback or questions via email, and I'll answer them as I can. And I hope to see you another time. And I hope you have a good rest of your day. So thanks again. Take care. Bye.